James Ezimoha. Welcome to African News. Let's see your headlines. Residents in Goma call for government intervention following drone strikes and tensions in the region. Abuja residents debate U.S. security alert over potential escalation of planned protests. And Chinese national carrying over 2,000 ants detained in Nairobi while preparing to leave Kenya. Nigeria's military says it is making progress against insurgent groups despite a recent surge in attacks across parts of the country. Officials say troops killed more than 20 militants after repelling attempted assaults on communities in the northeast. Tesema Kande has our top story.
Nigeria's Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, says the military remains confident it can defeat armed groups despite the recent spike in violence. He made the remarks after meeting President Bola Tinubu alongside heads of the country's security agencies. Nigeria has been grappling with renewed attacks by insurgents and gangs, forcing thousands to flee their homes. According to the International Organization for Migration, more than 3.7 million people are currently displaced by the conflict across the country, many living in temporary camps. Last week, around 100 people, including women and children, were abducted in the Goza local government area of Borno State, triggering further displacement. In central Nigeria, armed gangs also attacked communities in the Kwande local government area of Benue State, with local officials reporting several casualties. A member of the House of Representatives, Tese Ugbo, says at least 17 people, including a police officer, were killed in the area last month. The Minister of Defense says the military is adjusting its strategy, adding that troops have killed several insurgent commanders and seized equipment belonging to armed groups. He says President Bola Tinubu has also approved the procurement of additional military equipment to strengthen operations. The defense minister has urged Nigerians not to lose hope, saying the armed forces have the capacity to defeat insurgents and restore security. Tassim Akendi for A News in Jos.
Still in Nigeria, a security alert from the United States Embassy in Abuja has sparked debate among residents. The embassy issued the advisory on Monday, warning American citizens of a possible terrorist threat targeting our United States facilities and affiliated schools in Nigeria. Some residents in Abuja questioned the likelihood of such attacks, saying they have not seen signs of an immediate security risk. Others said the warning reflects ongoing concerns about safety and the need for vigilance in major cities.
Our government has not been able to tackle the insecurity that we have currently in our own nation. You understand? Him advising his people to be careful is a good call from him, because we as a people, our government cannot protect us. So what is the guarantee that they can protect also the interests of another country? You get? So to me, from my own perspective, it's right to warn his people to be careful.
As an American citizen in Nigeria, my advice is that I think they should go back to their country so that it will not cause a religious fight in Nigeria, because looking at this already, it's already like a religious fight.
Their president is being proactive by telling them that this is what is going on and they should be alert of what is happening. So to me, I feel they should go for now. At least that will keep them safe, because I don't think Nigeria is going to help in anything. If anything happens, I don't think.
The African Union has condemned a drone attack that killed 3 civilians in the city of Goma in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, says the strike violates international humanitarian law and has called for the independent investigation. In his correspondent, Chris Ocharmga has more.
The drone strike hit a residential area in the DRC's eastern city of Goma, 3 people were killed, including a French national working with UNICEF. The M23 rebels who control the city have blamed the Congolese government for the attack. But authorities in Kinshasa deny responsibility and say an investigation into the drone strike is underway. The African Union has condemned the attack and is calling for an independent inquiry to ensure those responsible are held accountable. The African Union chair has also urged both the Congolese army and the M23 rebels to exercise maximum restraint and avoid further escalation. Fighting between the Congolese government forces and the M23 fighters has intensified in eastern DRC since the start of the year. The African Union and the United States are observers in a ceasefire monitoring mechanism brokered by Qatar last year to help stop the clashes. Washington recently imposed sanctions on Rwanda's army and 4 senior officers, accusing them of fueling the conflict in eastern DRC. Rwanda denied the allegations, describing the sanctions as unfair. The conflict in eastern DRC has killed thousands of people and displaced millions others since late 2021. Chris Ochamringa for A News in Kinshasa.
Still in DR Congo, drone strikes have triggered protests in the city of Goma. Residents marched through the city after explosions earlier in the week killed civilians, including a United Nations staff member. Demonstrators are demanding accountability for the attack.
Residents in Goma gathered at Signa's roundabout before marching toward the headquarters of the United Nations peacekeeping mission, MONUSCO. The demonstration followed drone strikes that hit parts of the lakeside city, killing at least 3 people and damaging civilian homes. Residents say they are frightened by the attacks on civilian neighborhoods.
We are protesting because we have seen the bombing of civilian homes, killing civilians, including mothers and fathers. They have destroyed houses and equipment that have nothing to do with the army. That's why we are here. As it has affected the Himbi neighborhood, it could also reach us in Briere or Katindo, destroying the lives of peaceful people. We are civilians. We are afraid of these kinds of bombings in our city of Goma.
We are protesting today to tell the international community that we only want peace. Today, we want the Kinshasa government to negotiate if it can, but to stop these random attacks on populated areas. We want to reassure the world that Goma only wants peace, and that the authorities currently in Goma are making great efforts for our security, that we are beginning to sleep in peace and move around safely. We want this to continue in our city of Goma.
Civil society groups say they are calling for an immediate halt to attacks in populated areas.
No military logic can justify attacks by kamikaze drones that deliberately expose civilian populations to death and terror. The inhabitants of North Kivu and South Kivu cannot be transformed into targets of military operations. Faced with this extremely worrying situation, plural civil society makes the following urgent appeals. First, to the Kinshasa government to immediately stop kamikaze drone bombings in inhabited areas and to strictly respect international obligations regarding the protection of civilians and humanitarian personnel.
Authorities have not confirmed responsibility for the strikes, but the incident is likely to intensify scrutiny of military operations in densely populated areas.
Kenyan authorities have arrested a man accused of attempting to smuggle thousands of live ants out of the country. Investigators say the suspect, a Chinese national, was detained at Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport while preparing to leave Kenya. A search of his luggage uncovered more than 2,000 ants, many packed in test tubes and others hidden in rolls of soft tissue paper. Officials believe the insects were destined for collectors who maintain ant colonies in specialized containers known as formicariums. Wildlife authorities say they require additional time to analyze devices recovered from the suspect as part of the investigation.
Okay. Have a seat.
The Safari Rally in Kenya has begun with an early benchmark during the opening shakedown in Naivasha. Belgium driver Thierry Neuville set the fastest time, finishing ahead of championship rival Oliver Solberg. Championship leader Elfyn Evans, placed among the leading contenders, joined near the front by Toyota's Sami Pajeri. Drivers are using the shakedown to fine-tune their cars before the full competition gets underway across stages across Naivasha. Well, that's all we have today in Africa News. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to A News.